Talk about fucking, I don't even want to, I honestly am going to lose my mind if I watch this, but here, fuck it, why not? Kyle Rittenhouse, this double standard is not okay. Kyle Rittenhouse went on Tucker Carlson to do what? You might have guessed it, to defend Governor Greg Abbott. I suspect, I haven't seen this yet, okay? But to defend Governor Greg Abbott's decisions to pardon a convicted murderer who expressly went to a Black Lives Matter rally, drove into the crowd, and shot someone there. Okay? He did that. Now in the state of Texas, to get to get convicted of murder in the first degree, I mean, that's you really, really, really had to have wanted to do this aggressively. Like, can you imagine a Texas state jury convicting someone who went to a Black Lives Matter rally and killed someone? Well, I covered this extensively yesterday, okay? You already know the details. He openly mentioned that he wanted to go to a BLM rally and kill people. That's the reason why, okay? Which he did. He posted that he was going to do that on social media. He posted that in private conversations. And all of that was, of course, used as evidence against him because he ended up doing it. Let's take a look at what, but of course, for Governor Greg Abbott, that wasn't enough. He is going to pardon him, and now Tucker Carlson is petitioning to pardon him immediately.
But first to the case of Daniel Perry in Texas. Perry's an Army sergeant who was driving for Uber in Austin during the 2020 Black Lives Matter riots. A mob surrounded his car in the middle of the street. And we know this because parts of what happened next are captured on video. One rioter closed in and raised his AK-47 in Perry's direction. Perry responded to the threat to his life, shot and killed the man in self-defense. The local DA, Soros-backed, charged Perry with murder for that, and last week Perry was convicted.
So, one thing I have to immediately mention is that the victim in the situation, the one who got murdered, is also an Army veteran. Air Force veteran. So I know that Tucker Carlson is going to avoid talking about that. But if you want to bring up like someone, if you want to bring up the murderer's active duty status, then you should probably mention that the person he murdered is also a fucking veteran, an Air Force veteran. The Soros-backed DA, blah, blah, blah. That's just, that's just regular rhetoric. We know that already. It happens all the time. Okay?
Perry's family in shock, crying over the fact that he had just been convicted of murder for killing protester Garrett Foster in 2020. Perry himself unable to hide his emotion.
Yeah, his text revealed he wanted to kill them rioters and drove into these individuals running a red light. That is exactly what happened. Yes, those are incredibly important points that the jury saw and decided he was guilty of the act of murder. So you can fucking cry about it all you want, bitch. And Tucker Carlson can cry about it all he wants. But that is the reality. It was premeditated, too.
Hugging his attorney as he cried.
State, is there a motion?
The state wasting no time.
Jury, I'm asking the defendant be remanded into custody at this point.
Perry was turned over into the custody of the Travis County Sheriff's Office, handcuffed instantly.
So you're not allowed to defend yourself against BLM rioters, even when they point a rifle at you. That's the lesson. But of course, that lesson is incompatible with justice. And so to his credit, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has announced that he will pardon Daniel Perry. It's a little more complicated in Texas. Perry is behind bars tonight, but the governor has instructed the Pardons Board to work on an expedited review. That's required by law in Texas in order for a pardon to occur. But he is pardoning this man. That is obviously the right thing to do. George Soros can't.
Yeah, totally. It's the right thing to do. You know, when people go out, say that they're going to do a murder, end up doing the murder itself, okay? As long as, like, they are killing the bad guys in the eyes of Tucker Carlson, like, that's justifiable. because that's the future that they want. The law should always work in their favor. That's it. There is no reason. There's no rule of law. There's no law and order. Law and order just means law and order for me and violence for you. Looking at a situation like this and considering it a just murder is absolutely fucking insane. It was insane for Kyle Rittenhouse, but it's even more insane for this one, okay? Kyle Rittenhouse's situation also had similar points of contention, okay? But it's fucking insane to look at this one and go, oh, this one actually, he should be free. He should be free of this murder as well.
Pay for people to put his political opponents in jail and then have a Republican governor ignore it. It's outrageous. But of course, Democrats think he should be convicted of murder because one of their voters got killed. Now, everyone involved in this was the same color, white. But of course, Greg Abbott is a racist for some reason for pardoning Perry. Watch this.
I understand what Abbott is doing. So much of this here. Go back to Galveston, Texas, and you're going to find out what happened. Remember, it was in Texas that black folks were kept into slavery over 2 years after they had been freed.
This is what we're dealing with in this country. This is why you ended up having a Black Lives Matter protest in the first place. Seemingly, the Republicans do not believe in being hard on crime when it comes to certain folk, right? Seemingly, they only want to be hard on crime when they are poor, when they are black, when they are brown.
If Daniel Perry gets pardoned for murder in Texas, it'll really only be because he killed the right kind of person, the person that right-wingers don't care about. That is a Black Lives Matter protester.
I mean, yeah, that's it. That's the truth. I don't know why he's like showing truthful sentiment here, because that's precisely what Tucker Carlson is saying literally in this broadcast as he runs defense. I don't get it. I don't even understand why he's showing the truth and then he's going to do that exact same argument. At this point, I'm not even fucking kidding. At this point, it doesn't matter. It's like my side versus your side. I believe you're on the wrong side. I believe I'm on the right side. Even if you're saying something that is objectively true, even if I turn around and do exactly what you just said that I'm going to do, because you're on the other side, I'm just not going to look at that and go, wait a minute, this guy's actually correct on this. It's fucking bananas. It doesn't matter. Cognitive dissonance is so powerful in this country at this stage of our idiotic back and forth politics that you can literally show someone saying the objectively correct take and then literally follow through on what that objectively correct take was and actually act out what the take was originally, and people will still never once look at that and go, hold on, you're doing the thing that he's saying. Okay? He's showing this because Tucker is saying they're implying the person who murdered was black and the shooter was a racist. None of those people are saying that. I don't know about Jim Clyburn. I don't know what Jim Clyburn's circumstance is, but they're saying that it was a BLM protester. Doesn't matter. That's it. It's over. You are a BLM counter protester. You wanted to go there and kill BLM protesters. You ended up killing a BLM protester. That's it. That's it. You don't want Black Lives Matter protesters to exist. You want Black Lives Matter protesters to be shot and killed, or at the very least, driven over, okay? That's it. Holy fuck.
But the guy who was shot was white. Like, this is insane. And by the way, Congressman Clyburn.
Yeah, no one is saying that the guy who got shot was black. I don't think, at least. They're saying that the guy who was shot is a white guy at a Black Lives Matter protest. He was there on his own volition. He was there with his quadriplegic black fiance. and he got murdered in front of her, okay? When he was trying to make sure that his fiance was not killed by this fucking freak weirdo driving into a crowd. That's the reality of the situation. You don't have to be black to go to a Black Lives Matter protest, okay? It's called solidarity. It's so odd. And, like, it doesn't even matter. The component, the BLM component in this circumstance, the BLM component in this circumstance is only utilized as a defense for what he was doing, okay? Like, there is no situation where you could just drive into a fucking crowd with your car, take your gun out and shoot someone in that crowd, and then get away with it. That's it. That, like, what the fuck do you mean? That's what you did. You're defending a guy who did that. And the only reason why they're defending the guy who did that is because it was a BLM protest. That's it. And BLM protests are scary and bad. On the wrong side of politics on that one.
Does not get the credit that he deserves for being completely dishonest, ignoble, and also totally corrupt. He was promoting his daughter for government jobs. So the Texas Pardons Board is now reviewing Daniel Perry's pardon. They're not watching MSNBC, we hope. But we wanted to speak to one of the few people who knows tonight what Daniel Perry is going through, sitting behind bars for defending himself. Kyle Rittenhouse lived that experience. He joins us tonight. Kyle Rittenhouse, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Tucker.
So here you have a guy, I don't think there's really any debate. The protester who was killed raised a rifle at him, is exactly what happened with you. How do you think Daniel Perry feels tonight sitting in jail?
I could only imagine. He's probably sitting there wondering what happened. He defended himself. He knows what he did was right. You have a man with an AK-47 and over 120 rounds of ammo on his person, dressed...
Wait, I'm confused. So in Kyle's situation, people actually being fearful of Kyle running around with an assault rifle is ridiculous. That's why he should be not guilty, okay? But when the other side is a Black Lives Matter protester and he has a fucking rifle that's on his goddamn chest, okay, then he is actually guilty because, so it's always whoever is the BLM protester. That's the double standard? What the fuck? He said it's a scary rifle. Bitch, that was the entire point of why people were fucking chasing you. What the fuck? Bro, don't call it an assault rifle law. If that's your takeaway from this fucking circumstance, you need to suck on yours, okay? That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Why is this soft, tall baby adult talking with the Valorant accent? Yeah, I mean, you know why.
Just for war, as some people might say, with the rifle strapped.
Oh
the
my
AK-47
God.
raising it towards Daniel Perry, who was...
He didn't raise it. That's fucking bullshit. That was oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind. He did not raise his rifle. That is not true. He walked over to the car and told him to step away, like to not drive into the fucking crowd. He did not. The perpetrator himself said, I shot him because I didn't want him to aim it at me. Like, he openly, in his interrogation, said originally that he shot him before the other guy could do anything because he was scared. The rifle had no bullet in the chamber and the safety was on. Shut the fuck up. These are important parts of this conversation. Of course, none of those parts will be brought up in this situation because these are fucking demons. Their goal is not to parse through the truth and arrive at what actually happened on that night. The goal is to just cut propaganda. And as someone who is a fan of cutting propaganda on the left, at least, one, I do a better job of it, and two, I'm doing it for good reason. You're doing it because you want to go there and fucking defend a guy who killed a Black Lives Matter protester. It's fucking disgusting.
In flip-flops and beach shorts, carrying a revolver, and nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to mention that he was armed. I see a lot of reports just saying he fired indiscriminately into a crowd and he drove into a bunch of rioters.
This is like such an additional fuck you, because it's like a flex. It's like, I shot Black Lives Matter protesters. I got away with it. You should be able to do that as well. That's basically what it is. And the very same points of contention that like the prosecutors brought up in Kyle Rittenhouse's case, he's currently using against the victim. That is mind-boggling.
They don't want to talk about how he was swarmed, how his car was swarmed with a bunch of rioters trying to attack him.
As he was driving for Uber. I mean, the least powerful person in our society, attacked by one of the worst people in our society who's out there rioting. As in your case, you were trying to defend a used car lot, and a convicted child molester tried to kill you, and they took the convicted child molester's side. Do you see parallels here?
Absolutely, and you see the double standard in this case. People aren't talking about the fact of the second person who attacked Daniel Perry. After Sergeant Daniel Perry defended himself against Garrett Foster, he was then shot at 3 times.
I can't believe that we can say that, like, without even laughing or without even cracking a smile, that like Kyle Rittenhouse was protecting a used car lot. Man, sometimes I hate this country, bro. I mean, this is it.
By a person who was never charged by the Travis County DA. Somebody who recklessly fired a slew of shots at Daniel Perry's car, and they don't want to.
Oh my God, I can't believe he's saying this. I can't believe he's the one saying this. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You literally did that. Like, you did that and got away with it. What the fuck are you? Oh my God. Now we're going to have the expert on getting away with murdering protesters. Comment on a guy murdering protesters. Fucking psychotic. Yeah, no, it's insane.
Want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the recklessness of that, and they don't want to charge him. It's a double standard, and it's not okay.
He fired 3 shots in the middle of a city, but that's totally fine. Okay. Kyle Rittenhouse, thank you.
Bro, he fired 3 shots in the middle of the city? Brother, how about the other guy who fired 5 shots and killed someone that you're currently defending? Oh my God. Oh my God.